Well, welcome back to Talking with Tad today. And we've got some exciting things going on that are going to be shared with all of you. And I know you're going to be staying till the very end because this is all about convention. But before I get there, I want to say the silver lining to COVID, which I'm not sure there are too many silver linings. But the one thing I've learned is that with Zoom, we can do so much. As I'm here in Charlotte right now, at the RNC meeting, and then I'm going to be at the convention, our RNC convention meeting on Monday, the 24th, and to get the business completed. And then right now we get to share this conversation. You're going to hear more about what's going on in Texas, but our special guest today is actually in Washington, D.C. Samantha Cotten is the regional comms director for the Trump victory. And she is so lucky to have Texas, and we are lucky to have her to be a part of it. I worked with her last week, and she is just awesome. So she's going to share some fun things about how you can get involved, how you can find out what's going to be happening during the evenings of next week. So Samantha, I'm going to ask you to take it away and share with our people listening today of how they can be involved the week of the convention.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I actually just stepped off a plane from Dallas. Actually, throughout the DNC week, we just did a whole bunch of counter programming locally throughout Texas as well. And what we're doing is we're continuing that through the RNC week. Since we all can't be together in large gatherings, what our strategy is to localize the convention. So the convention is also aligning with our national weekend or national week of training. And so we're going to have 5,000 events nationwide. All of them are starting roughly between 5 and 7 p.m. At your local Trump victory offices or your local GOP offices, anywhere that you can get involved. And so if you go to trumpvictory.com, you'll be able to see all of the links that we have up for local events near you. And they'll all have different focuses, a bunch of different speakers, a bunch of local surrogates for the campaign. So, members of Congress, candidates running for office up and down the ballot, those are going to be the surrogates at those specific events.
Wow, that sounds awesome. And so now tell me again, where can they go to find out where this is going to be taking place?
Yeah, it's trumpvictory.com, and that's our grassroots website where you can find all of our MAGA meetups and all of our what we call TVLIs. And TVLIs stands for Trump Victory Leadership Initiative, and that's the way that we train our volunteers. So you'll go through kind of like a mini class, and you'll learn everything about organizing your community, how to become a neighborhood team leader, how to properly knock doors, make phone calls, and digitally organized.
Well, and I think one of the things that I want to do here right this minute is to ask the people to do this, because a lot of times people say, well, nobody ever asked me. So you know what I'm doing, Samantha? I'm asking them right now to go and sign up so they can learn how to go through all of this properly, because sometimes it's a little intimidating if you haven't done the training of block walking and knocking on that door. You're like, oh my gosh, how do I handle this? So that type of training is so crucial for all of our volunteers, new volunteers, and even some that haven't done it for a while. It just refreshes them, gives them a little bit of encouragement in how to go about doing that.
Correct,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so that is awesome. And who are some of these people that will do the training?
So our trainings are hosted by our regional field directors and our field staff members. So they're the ones that are actually doing the training. They're the ones that the volunteers will be dealing with when they are on the ground. They're the ones that are going to be organizing the lit, the block walks, the phone bankings, all of that. So they're really the ones that are the teachers and show everyone how to use our programs, like whether it's Red Dialer, trumpvictory.com. We have our own apps and everything to deal with door knocking and for phone banking as well. So they're really the stars of the show, our ground crew, our field staff that are out there every day, 24/7, making sure that we're getting volunteers, recruiting new volunteers, and that the volunteers that we do have are also bringing new people into the fold of the Republican Party.
Well, you know, that I know that the other day I was calling and talking to a number of the staff in Texas, and I said, "Okay, now which day do you block walk?" And they go, "Every day." You do? I said, "Wow, that is awesome." That's how, I mean, isn't our goal like to do 1 million of these doors throughout the United States or even in Texas, right? I mean, we're
Yeah,
really concentrating.
yeah, we're trying to knock roughly 1 million doors a week nationwide, and
Wow.
Texas is obviously a huge part of that. We have a full victory operation there to get people involved and make sure that Texas stays red.
And it's going to stay red. That's because we're all working together. I know that. Well, that is pretty awesome. I think, am I right that we have, don't we have offices like in San Antonio, Houston, Dallas?
Yep.
Um, do we have one in, I mean, there's a couple more out there, aren't
Yeah,
there?
we have some in the Austin area as well.
And see, that's even that's a blue area, but they can spread out and go, and every single vote counts, doesn't it?
Yep,
That we need to get them
absolutely.
all to turn out.
We're making sure that we're in the suburbs of the big metro areas and then also in the more rural areas of the state too. So we're really a statewide operation, but definitely concentrated. You'll find a lot of volunteers and a lot of staff in some of the major metro areas.
That's awesome. I know, and great volunteers already. We just need some more. Well, now tell me, now what do you know that our viewers would love to hear about next week's convention?
For next week's convention, I think that you're going to see a lot of good local surrogates at these events that are going to be there not only to pump up the crowd, but also explain why Donald Trump needs 4 more years in office and show the contrast of the far left liberal socialist policies that we have been hearing the last week of the DNC and contrasting that message with ours.
That there's no question that was a socialist group. I mean, it was the DNC, but I think they should have had socialism in there somewhere too, right? Well,
Exactly.
so now when at night they're doing virtual. I mean, what I've heard is it's virtual, like on from like 8:30 to 10, and then live from 10 to 11. In that this is also, is it going to be live stream? How are people going to see it besides the networks?
Yeah, I believe it's live streamed on a couple of different streaming services that the convention is working through. I believe the convention website has links and everything so everyone can get hooked up
Oh,
and properly see everything.
that, and now is that convention website the same that you just told us about before? Or is that a different
No, that's a different
address?
one. That's set up through the Republican National Convention. I'm not sure what it is off the top of my head. The one that I was talking about was Trump Victory for Volunteers and Volunteer Recruitment and those
All right.
MAGA meetups and TVLIs.
I bet you they could Google it or ask Siri or some way find out where is the GOP convention, you know, and that give us that website and it'll pop up, right?
I saw this morning that they tweeted out where you can see it everywhere from Amazon to other streaming services, websites, and things like that.
Well, we're going to have to get that also, that we can maybe drop that below this interview, and so people can get that information too. So let's see, we know that Mrs. Trump is going to be probably on Tuesday night and the vice president on Wednesday night. And of course, the major speech and acceptance is our president. And my understanding is that it is going to be done from the White House lawn, and that he'll be out there, which I don't know. Has there been another president that or candidate that has done the acceptance speech there?
I am not sure, but I think this is probably the first one. We're kind of in a little bit of unprecedented times thanks to the virus. So we're just switching everything up and making sure that the American people are able to hear Donald Trump's message on Thursday night.
And they need to hear, because we do need 4 more years. And so they do need to hear that. And then the more people we get in, the more people to the ballot box. And for the president, but also for all of our other Republicans all the way down ballot, right? We need to work all together so that we can keep our freedoms in this country. Well,
Absolutely.
now what I would like to do, now as you know, and of our viewers know, we have to go into the fun fact part of our interview. And this is the time we get to find something out about you that is fun. And ladies and gentlemen, I have not heard this, so this is all new for me too. So Samantha, can you share something fun about you?
Yeah, sure. I was actually a tennis player in college. So I played college tennis at the D3 level. So
Wow.
yeah, it's one of my major hobbies, still play to this day. Obviously not as competitively as what I did then, but that would be my.
Nice. So what school did you go to?
I went to the University of Mount Union, which is a smaller school in Northeast Ohio, outside of Akron, which is where I'm originally from.
Well, well, I have seen a few of your friends. I've seen from Ohio is their chairman, Jane Tipkin is here that I just had a conversation with, and also the committee man, Jim Dickey, who's here. Wonderful people. Boy, do they work hard. So you come
Yeah,
from a good state, and that's a great, that's impressive that you did that kind of competition. So good
thank
for you to do that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, you are welcome. And Samantha, thank you for taking the time to be with us and talk about what's going to come up the week of August 24th and how people can get involved. We need every single one of you out there to say, yes, I can do it, and then bring a friend, because the more we have involved, the more votes that are going to be there for President Trump and all the Republicans all the way down the ticket. So thank you for joining us, Samantha. Really appreciate it. And I look forward to working with you throughout the years.
Same here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.